Good evening, Mr. Grand. We are here to present the future of Cynthia in the United States. My name is Michael Reed. I'm an accountant with 5 years job experience, and I have personally witnessed the highly competitive nature in the accounting industry. My teammate Tomislav Gogic is a financial analyst with 6 years of job experience. Most of his analysis has been conducted in U.S. markets. My other teammate, Sydney Green, is a market analyst with 5 years job experience, primarily focused in analyzing trends and information amongst competitors within the industry. And my final teammate, Yu Yin, is a manager with 5 years job experience, focused on employing accountants within the U.S. markets. Our goal is to convey a clear understanding of the accounting industry in the U.S. and to illustrate the potential for our clients' firms to expand into this market.
The market share for accounting services found within fiscal 2015 contains an $89.6 billion revenue along with a $15.6 billion profit. With over 96,000 businesses, the cumulative wages within firms accounted for $35.8 billion. However, the projected annual growth for the accounting industry looks to decrease from 3.4% within 2010 to 2015 to 3.2% in 2015 to 2020.
As Figure 1 shows, revenue and employment growth follows the cyclical growth of the U.S. economy. There are periods of fluctuation followed by periods of stagnation. Currently, in 2015 projected to 2021, the percent growth in the accounting market is steady but not increasing. The Big Four controls around 33% of market. The Big Four consist of PwC, Deloitte, Ernst & Young, KPMG. Concentration in the industry is low. There is high competition. The major segments compose the majority of market, the first being financial auditing and statement review services, the second being tax preparation and representative service, and third being tax planning and consulting services, the last being general accounting and other financial assurance services. The demand of products and services depend on the trends around different regions within America. There are 4 areas that contribute to majority of the market. In Southeast, Florida is home to metropolitan areas which create high demand of industry service in this region. The West has a large public sector and agricultural and mining sectors. These factors create high demand of accountants and providers of associated services. In Middle Atlantic, there are a large number of major finance, insurance, and professional service organizations. These firms generate massive demand of assurance and tax service and therefore create high demand of accounting and auditing services. The Great Lake has a large number of accountants in metropolitan areas such as Chicago to provide service to the wide range of industries such as finance, insurance, manufacturing, energy, and agriculture that are headquartered in them.
PricewaterhouseCoopers is the largest player within the accounting industry, holding 9.7% of the market share. PwC's strengths are mainly centered around its ability to provide services globally. However, due to this wide portfolio, pending audits and lawsuits have the potential to dilute PwC's image as a major accounting company. While intense competition within the European market amongst the Big Four is likely to affect global services, PwC's opportunities remain strong within these emerging markets as they look to expand their European services and move into the Asian markets. The outlook for PwC within the upcoming years is backed by the firm's strong decision in April of 2014 to change its consulting firm name to Strategy & boosting its advisory and consulting business while adding 3,000 employees. Over the 5 years to fiscal 2015, PwC's revenue is projected to expand at a rate of 5.8% to $8.7 billion due to stronger business activity from financial markets and the full benefits from Strategy &
Deloitte, holding 9% of the market share, has many strengths. It is a diverse company that has many member companies that specialize and perform different financial services. It's also reliable because it provides services to 80% of the Fortune 500 companies. Its weaknesses are that it's grown through acquisition and mergers, so this can be a weakness because the new companies that they acquire are disassociated from the parent company. They provide opportunities through the education network, internship opportunities for undergraduate and future students. Threats are that many accounting practices are changing, and that makes the market unstable. Companies need to stay ahead of this trend to be competitive. Figure 4 shows a 2015 financial statement for Deloitte in the US. As you can see, its revenues have grown, and also it's building more offices in more cities.
Ernst & Young, with 8.6% of the market share, is a unified global organization that is diversified in sectors and geographies and has had steady growth in revenues. Its weaknesses are that it has had legal proceedings that could dent its brand image. Ernst & Young opportunities lie within expanding their business to Asia, and they're poised to benefit with the increased adoption of the IFRS. The firm's main threats are the intense competition that could affect their market share and the regulatory pressures that are strict in enforcing compliance. Relevant current events as of 2015 are that investors seek to hold Ernst & Young responsible for Madoff losses. Ernst & Young was named the Consultancy of the Year, and Ernst & Young was voted best accounting firm to hedge fund industry for 7th consecutive year.
KPMG International, with 5.7% of market share, is a big four accounting firm with extensive global reach. Its weaknesses is that administrative and legal proceedings could dent brand image. Its opportunities are the rapidly growing emerging markets, the increase in the demand for global management and marketing consultancy, strategic acquisition, and the increasing adoption for the IFRS. Its stress are intense competition for market share. Regulatory pressures could impact competitive position. Prolonged economic recovery in key European countries. Relevant current events is that KPMG's global investment has invested in 3 strategic data and analysis solutions, enable macroeconomic risk and changing market regulatory forces.
Barriers to entry. There is a low level of concentration in this industry. The industry is mostly comprised of small, non-employer firms. Accounting firms in the U.S. face a high level of competition. It is relatively easy to enter the industry because there are few barriers to entry at the lower end. Yet there are high barriers to expansion within the market. Larger operators seeking to audit publicly listed companies have to comply with Securities and Exchange Commission requirements and regulations. The largest industry players have offices in major cities. Small firms may have problems serving large clients as each of the industry's major players has more than 100,000 employees. Large accounting firms may also have access to specialized personnel or systems. In addition to this, large firms respond to regulatory changes faster as a result of workforce specialization.
The services provided by accounting firms have varying demand within the business cycle. Regulatory and compliance mandates provide consistent demand for traditional accounting and auditing services. Public clients often retain auditing firms for extended periods, guaranteeing a dependable stream of revenue for an accounting firm. Consistent demand is also derived from the government, as businesses and individuals require advice and assistance from audited accounts and financial reporting. Due to this, any increase in legislation or governance standards will promote further demand for accounting services. While the demand is consistent within regulation and the government, demand for services such as tax and strategic advisory are generally cyclical. Because of this, demand for accounting services is ultimately dependent on the positive or negative economic conditions and growth within markets.
Market trends. As software becomes more convenient for small businesses to use, there is more competition and smaller accounting businesses to change their strategy and improve their information gathered from technology like QuickBooks to provide more valuable services to consumers. A company called Wolters Kluwer has done just that. They've developed software that's made them more competitive in the market, and they're being recognized as competing with larger companies in the market. Also, changes have been made to the IASB and FASB regarding international financial reporting standards. With these standards becoming globalized, it's easier for businesses to conduct business in other countries because they won't have to change the way they conduct business. As you can see in Figure 6, the corporate profit projected to 2021 shows the future change in profits are declining.
The accounting industry in the U.S. follows a cyclical pattern, being better off during expansion and worse off during recessions. The growth of this industry, though projected as a positive number for the coming years, is smaller than the growth that it has experienced in the past 5 years. There is a low level of concentration and a high level of competition in the U.S. market. The level of competition is bound to increase with changing softwares now allowing smaller firms to compete with the Big Four. The Big Four accounting firms dominate the American market. Their reputation and size has given them access to specialized personnel and teams. Because of this, the Big Four have secured some of the most profitable segments and players within this market. In addition, having a large number of employees has allowed for workforce specialization among the Big Four, which leads to a more dynamic, better competitor. Larger operators like the Big Four have to comply with the requirements and regulations set by the Securities and Exchange Commission. A common opportunity shared by the strongest players within the industry is expanding their business into the new emerging markets. Economic growth, profit potential, and revenue potential are a lot greater in the emerging markets as opposed to the established markets of the West. For this reason, we recommend that Sensia expands into the emerging markets because they will be able to cultivate a large market share in such an environment as opposed to the U.S. market.